How about we take care of some business at the beginning of the year? And with that in mind, we say hello to Kim Baer from the Baer Law Office with a checklist of things that you should need to take care of at the beginning of the year. Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm doing great, Lou. How are you?
We are awesome, and we want to help people take care of things that are really important when it comes to life in general.
Yes, absolutely. So I thought we'd start off talking about power of attorneys and explaining to the viewers what that is and why you might need one.
Okay, let's talk about this because there's a couple different kinds, right?
There are. So you have a power of attorney for medical issues, and you can also have a power of attorney for financial issues. And, a lot of times people say, well, for medical, I'd like my husband or I'd like my oldest daughter. But for financial, maybe I want my sister, So you can pick different people for whatever the need is, whatever power of attorney it is that you're filling out.
Now, Kim, does it have to be a relative or could it be a friend?
No, it also can be a friend, and sometimes that makes sense. I mean, especially with regard to medical decisions. I know we've joked in the past. I mean, my power of attorney for my medical decisions is primarily my daughter because my husband doesn't do well with that kind of thing. So you really want to think about, is this person well suited for that task? Another point I wanted to make, Lou, that a lot of people don't understand is in the power of attorney, we put in there, it does not go into effect unless a court says that you're incompetent or a doctor says that you're incompetent. So just for example, if I gave you a power of attorney of my finances, you wouldn't be able to run out tomorrow and clean out my bank account.
All right, so much for that idea. But are these very expensive to put into place?
No, they're really not. I know our office charges $100 per power of attorney, and if you're getting a couple of power of attorneys or a will, then there's a discount as well. So if you already have an attorney, talk to that attorney and see what they're charging.
All right, now speaking of wills, let's talk about living wills and what they are and why it's so important to have those.
Yes, I think probably out of everything that we do for our clients, I think the living will might be one of the most important things just because I've seen it come into play. So the living will allows you to tell the doctors as well as your relatives when you want to be taken off of life support, when you want, if you're in a coma and there's no chance you're going to wake up or you're going to not have your faculties, it lets you make those decisions so that your relatives and friends and family don't have to do it when you're in that situation.
Now, has COVID and the pandemic come into play with living wills?
Absolutely. We've done more power of attorneys and living wills in the last 18 months than we probably have in the last 6 or 7 years. And, I've also ran over to the hospital to try and help people, and the person signing these documents has to be competent at the time. So that's something that we're always concerned about. So you don't want to wait too late. Same thing with regard to if someone has a debilitating disease. We want to make sure we get ahead of that.
Okay, so we're talking about living wills. What about wills in general? Why is it so important to have a will in place?
Right. Well, so one example I give to my clients because we also do family law, if we have just gotten someone divorced and they fought so hard to have their half of the assets and they have young children, if they then walk out in front of a bus, if the children are under the age of 18, their half is going to go to the children if there's no will in place. And then what's going to happen is it's going to be managed by your ex-spouse, the person you just have been fighting with to try and get things away from him or her. So it's really important to have a will so that you can decide where things are going to go and who's going to receive what and what percentage.
Okay, let's talk about the cost of creating one of these again. Are they reasonably priced?
I think they are. I mean, I know our office charges, I think they start at $500 for a simple will. There may be lawyers out there that are doing it for cheaper, and certainly if you have a lawyer, ask them what they would charge you. I know, again, our office, if you need a will and a couple of power of attorneys, we will give you a discount. The will is also important if you have children from a previous marriage and you've remarried, because if you don't have a will, then the law is going to decide who gets what.
Yeah, Kim, sounds like you're bundling. If you bundle, you save a little money. All right, people want to get more information about the things that we talked about. What is the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just give us a call at 515-279-2000. We're always happy to try to figure out if we can help.
All right, Kim, great job as always. You take care of yourself, and we will talk to you next time.
Okay, take care, Lou.
All right,
Bye.
you too.